kidnapped Jack Black? That's illegal.
But Kermit, what's more illegal? Briefly inconveniencing Jack Black or destroying the Muppets?
Chicken jockey!
Hey guys, it's me, Emil, and today we're gonna talk about the Muppets. If you guys didn't know, I'm a big fan of the Muppets, and the Muppets have been kind of in the news a lot lately, whether it was other Henson properties or just Muppets in general. There's been a lot of Muppet stuff going on lately. And around this time last year, I know it wasn't exactly around this time last year, but in March of 2024, I made a video that looked back at the past 14 years of Muppets. I was gonna do 10 years, but like nothing happened in the 10 years previous to 2024. I don't know, it's not too great on this side either. But nonetheless, there's been a lot of Muppet news that happened between April 2024 to April 2025. So in this video, I'm gonna discuss every single piece of Muppet media that had any kind of news between April of 2024 and now, because we're like a little bit in May, so I guess I'll talk about the little bit we did. We got to the Muppet 70th, so that's one thing. Oh boy, this is a lot. The first piece of Muppet news happened really close to the time that I actually uploaded the previous video, and it happened on March 29th, 2024. This date was the release of Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock Season 2. I can't really speak on Fraggle Rock Season 2 because I watched a little bit of Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock Season 1. What I watched in Season 1 was good. It was a good children's show, and I think all the awards that it got are warranted. And it's honestly nothing to do with Fraggle Rock. I just hate paying for Apple TV Plus. I refuse to do that. That's just, it's a bad streaming service that has like nothing. So, but over on the Muppet side of the fence, there was a little more development in the Disney Plus side of things. We had the release of the Jim Henson documentary, Idea Man. This documentary isn't talked about a lot, but I watched it and I thought it came out pretty good. It leans into a lot of his earlier stuff and has a lot of non-Disney Muppet things, like things that Disney doesn't own but are still Henson products. There's also a lot of references to his older short films that he made. If you guys know Muppet Ball, comment down below if you know Muppet Ball. I mean, if you know anything about Jim Henson, it got covered in the documentary, but it's cool to see like Dave Goelz talk about Jim Henson stuff. I don't know, that's interesting to me. Frank Oz, I think, shows up in there. All the Muppet guys, not Steve Whitmire, he didn't show up in that, but all the Muppet guys show up in there, and they talk a little more in detail about the whole Jim Henson thing. There's books that you can read about Jim Henson's past if you're even more interested than just the documentary. But there's a whole Defunctland series that you can watch of all the Muppet things that went on and the life of Jim Henson, which is kind of a more in-depth version of this documentary because it lasts over a bunch of episodes. But as something that Disney Plus put out, it seems like they really did care about the Muppets. And the reason I think that they made this Jim Henson documentary to begin with was because that pretty soon they would have the 70th anniversary of Muppets. Technically, it's the 70th anniversary of Kermit the Frog being on Sam and Friends, but nonetheless, it's still the 70th anniversary of Muppets. Kermit the Frog is the first Muppet. He's like Mickey Mouse, you know, like Disney is however old. Now they turned like 100, like 20 times. All of Disney is based on of like whatever Walt Disney first started his first thing. Jim Henson's first thing was Kermit the Frog. So all of Muppets is like 7 years old now. And other festivities that Disney was going to do to celebrate Muppet's 70th anniversary, in August of 2024, they decided that they were going to do a weekly spotlight of a particular Muppet. Every single week from April 23rd to like still now, they're still doing it. Like every week they talk about a certain Muppet. They talk about Pepe, they talk about Animal, they talk about Zoot. And it's a pretty fun little thing that they're doing. In fact, I'm going to name every single Muppet that they've done up until this point, which is May 14th, 2025. Up until now, all the Muppets that they featured on the Instagram have been Rolf the Dog, Lou Zealand, Pops, Baby Skeeter, Kuzbanian Mama, Wayne and Wanda, Mo Frackle, Yolanda, Swedish Chef, Muppet Ghost, Zoot, Behemoth, Animal, Walter, Link Hogthrob, Ghost of Christmas Present, Muppet Tomato, Robin the Frog, Crazy Harry, Throg, Nigel the Conductor, Janice, Bubba the Rat, Camilla, Sergeant Floyd Pepper, Polly Lobster, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, Beaker, Peppy the King Prawn, Mildred Huxletter, Constantine, Dr. Teeth, Rizzo the Rat, Joe the Legal Weasel, Bean Bunny, Dolores the trombone player, Dr. Julius Strangepork, and Kermit the Frog. I think it's a cool thing that they're doing for the Muppets because, as you can see on everything else they're doing for the Muppets, all we got was a documentary. They make like 80 Marvel movies a year, but they can't make one Muppet movie or a TV show or a short. And it's not only Instagram posts. In the park, I think in Tomorrowland, you can go and get these little magnets that have the post from the Instagram on a magnet. I think that's a cool thing. They last for a few weeks. I've gotten two. I have Walter and I have the 70th anniversary Muppets one. But besides that, there hasn't been a lot of Muppet news for the parks, for the movies, for quite literally anything in like all of 2024. At least I thought that was the case until November of 2024, when they decided to drop the most massive news for the 70th anniversary. Now, what is this massive news, you might be asking? I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you already know. But for the 70th anniversary of Muppets, they decided to not only do little Instagram posts on the Muppet social account, they decided that they would close Jim Henson's final project ever, which was Muppet Vision 3D. Within a month, I think, as I'm recording this, Muppet Vision 3D will no longer exist. I've already made a video, kind of, on my second account, showcasing my opinions about the matter. No one was asking for this! It weren't too positive. I have said that I wanted a Monsters, Inc. roller coaster, but I didn't want this to happen. I've kind of calmed down on the whole Muppet Vision 3D thing closing because I know there's nothing that we can do to stop them. I'm almost positive that people tried to make it a historical landmark so no one could tear it down, but that didn't work. Disney didn't care about that. To me, at least, it's a weird topic to discuss because Muppet Vision 3D is what theme park people call a people eater. Muppet Vision 3D is a big auditorium where people can sit down and watch a show that lasts about like 30 minutes, by the way, and they can sit in the air condition and cool down from the floor to sun. But they don't care about that, apparently. They're going to replace it with some Monsters, Inc. thing just to make a big land like they do everything else. And not only just because it's the only Muppet thing in the park. It's because it's Jim Henson's, like, literally final thing. But on the same day they announced this, they announced that Rock and Rollercoaster, another beloved Hollywood Studios attraction, would also be closing and having a retheme to Electric Mayhem. I guess they thought this would be like a easy fix for all Muppet fans, but this is also kind of a double-edged sword for Muppet fans. Because yeah, you're closing one of the greatest Muppet marvels of human history and then opening a Muppet roller coaster, which a Muppet roller coaster is cool, but it's gonna be modern Muppets. And I know in my last video where I discussed modern Muppets, I said that Mayhem, the Disney Plus show that they made in like 2023, was pretty good, but it's also kind of soulless. So I hope that if they do build the Electric Mayhem Rock and Roller Coaster rebrand, then it will at least have some heart and soul and Muppet swagger, for lack of a better term, put into it. And in this 70th anniversary of the Muppets, the next piece of news was not related at all to the Muppets. It was to do with Sesame Street. On December 17th, 2024, HBO Max announced that Sesame Street episodes would no longer be coming on HBO Max. The reason for this was because that they're switching to a more adult audience. I don't know. And they thought that Sesame Street wouldn't fit that brand. I still will never understand what the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery meant when he said this. Because, dude, adults have kids. They've got to put their kids in front of something. And Sesame Street is a good source of entertainment for little kids. And it's also educational. So now Sesame Street just went to this limbo phase where all their episodes would be kind of on there until 2027. But after that, they have no home. Like, Sesame Street, all of it will become lost media if no one buys it. And so far, no one has. And if that wasn't bad enough, due to the state of recent politics, PBS Kids might not even exist pretty soon. And that means also Sesame Street might not exist anymore soon, so we'll see. We'll see what the future of Sesame Street holds. Hopefully I'll make a 2026 video where I look at this year of Muppets. That'll definitely be interesting. But in the meantime, as all this crazy stuff is going on with Sesame Street and the Muppets, Fraggle Rock comes in completely fine. Apple TV is kind of loving Fraggle Rock right now. Because on January 18th, 2025, the Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock live tour began. What? Sesame Street is like almost becoming extinct, and the Muppets is getting taken out back and shot. Then Fraggle Rock just walks in and it's, what's up guys? We have a live show. Come watch us. What? You know, I was clowning on Apple TV Plus at the beginning of this video, but at this point, Apple TV Plus, buy Sesame Street and the Muppets from Disney. Like, at this point, it might be a better option. They have so little stuff on their streaming service. Maybe they'll, like, actually make something with it. But speaking of making things with the Muppets, January 31st, we had our first, technically, new Muppet thing, which was a Booking.com commercial that I'm pretty sure came out during the Super Bowl. It's cool that the Muppets were in a commercial in the Big 25, but like, why are they only in a commercial? The only thing Disney has done, and quite frankly, for the entire 70th anniversary, besides the Instagram features, was on the actual 70th anniversary, they acknowledged it by giving them a gondola on the Disney Skyliner, which is cool. But it's also kind of the same thing as if you go and shoot your best employee and then you put a plaque in his honor in the middle of your store. A little morally weird, Disney. Okay, so there was one more thing, and this is editing email here because this happened quite literally as I was editing this video. For the new version of World of Color, which is the nighttime spectacular show that they do at Disney's California Adventure, I don't know if this is for the Muppets 70th anniversary or for Disneyland's 70th anniversary, but instead of just having a safety spiel at the beginning of World of Color, they did a Muppets sketch where the Muppets had to tell you what the safety precautions were for World of Color before actually watching the show. And of course, in Muppet fashion, everything goes wrong and they pick literally the craziest people to actually try to say these safety precautions. I know I was hating on Disney's use of the Muppets this entire video, but without joking, this is probably the funniest and best use of the Muppets that they've had since 2014. Like, every joke in here kind of hits, and Matt Vogel sounds a lot better as Kermit the Frog, and Joe the Legal Weasel, he is typically unbearable for me. He was actually really funny in this. So, this is a massive step up for Muppets. And, well, I really hope while I'm editing, like, the last 2 minutes of this video, Disney doesn't decide to do something crazy more with the Muppets. Actually, I hope they do, because then that means that they're actually doing stuff with the Muppets. You know, maybe I just need to make more of these videos about updates in the parks and in the Muppet movies, and then they'll actually start using them. Who knows? Also, if you care, the most recent person revealed for the Muppet 70th anniversary Instagram thing was Beautiful Day Monster. So, that was another thing that happened to the Muppets while I was editing this video. Now, that's the end of the Muppet news that's happened in the past year, but let's take a look at some of the Muppet rumors that I've heard. I've heard through the grapevine on TikTok that they're thinking about making a modern Muppet show. In last year's video, I said I would be thrilled if they made a modern-day Muppet show with modern-day guest stars and just did the exact same thing, but in the modern day. I don't know, is the Muppet show what we really need right now? That's what I said last year. Maybe it is. I honestly, if they're not going to make a movie out of it, they have Disney Plus. Just put it on Disney Plus, make a new Muppet show. That could be good, I guess. I don't know. I'm just desperate for anything at this point. The other Muppet rumors I've heard was park related, and one of them is involving the saving of Muppet Vision 3D. Now, the thing I've said that I really want was them to just take Muppet Vision 3D and push it somewhere else. But they're not going to do that. Enough time has passed. I don't think that's even going to happen at all. But I did hear that they are having a cast member screening of Muppet Vision and they're going to record it. I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they're going to record it like they did Hamilton that one time and put it on Disney Plus. It's not ideal, you know? I still would like to experience Muppet Vision because there's not 3D glasses in Disney Plus. But I don't know. At least they're making attempts to preserve it. You got to give them credit for that. But just, like, put it in where the stupid villains thing is. Nobody cares about that. They're making a whole villain's land. But they're not going to do that. At the end of the day, this is just coping for the fact that they will be getting rid of this great attraction. Probably the only thing that keeps the spirit of Hollywood alive in Hollywood studios. I'm just tired of what they're doing to the Muppets at this point. But if no one's going to care about the Muppets, then I will. Because I intend on making a bunch more Muppet videos similar to this. If you guys like it, please give me a like and subscribe to the Emil YouTube channel. And if you think any of what I said was wrong today, please just let me know in the comments down below. Or if you've heard other Muppet news that I did not discuss here, comment down below and I'll maybe make a little thread of things I missed. But that's pretty much it for this video. I have some more cool content coming down your way and I will see you guys next week.